There's a lot to digest and a lot of voices to be heard. Stick to the frequency that amplifies those voices, stories and reports that make the difference. This is Agidigbo News, 88.7 FM, the people's voice.
This is Kunle Amzat Studio, Agidigbo 88.7 FM. Welcome to News Around the World.
Good evening. Welcome to the news around the world on Agidigbo 88.7 FM Ibadan, the most listened to radio station. I am OLAJUMOKE, OLADUNJOYE. The headlines. Federal government says Nigeria, China to expand partnership to science, technology. Oyo residents lament over rainy season difficulties. Spain announces new border controls with Italy in migration role. US tightens travel rules for people returning from Ebola-hit regions. Flying Eagles face Burkina Faso for Waffle B final over AFCON ticket. And now the details. The federal government has said Nigeria-China strategic partnership is moving beyond trade to deeper cooperation in science, technology, sustainable agriculture, and innovation as the 2026 Seasonal Life and Harmonious China Cultural Exhibition opened in Abuja. The exhibition, held at the China Cultural Center as part of the China-Nigeria People-to-People and Cultural Exchange Series, brought together officials, diplomats, and cultural stakeholders to showcase Chinese traditions while highlighting opportunities for stronger bilateral cooperation in technology, agriculture, and economic development. Speaking at the event, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology, Dr. Mukhtar Yawale Muhammad, said the theme of the exhibition reflected not only Chinese philosophy, but also the evolving relationship between Nigeria and China. Dr. Muhammad said the bilateral partnership was increasingly producing opportunities beyond conventional trade relations, particularly in agricultural transformation, scientific innovation, and technology transfer, and he added that Nigeria would also seek technology transfer to process cassava, shea butter, and cashew nuts into value-added products for the Chinese and global markets. The presidential spokesperson, Chief Bayo Ononuga, has said that President Bola Tinubu deserves praise for expanding infrastructure across the country. Chief Ononuga stated this today during an inspection tour of the Makurdi, Otupo, Afo, Enugu dual carriageway by the Renewed Hope Ambassador's presidential media team. Speaking to newsmen along the corridor, the presidential spokesperson described the expressway as a landmark project that would strengthen connectivity, boost commerce, and foster national integration. Chief Ononuga also added that construction of highways linking one state to another will not only boost passenger traffic but also business, as people will be able to move goods across all the borders in each state. Heavy rainfall across many parts of Nigeria is increasingly disrupting daily life, leaving communities to struggle with flooding, damaged roads, transportation difficulties, and decreasing business activities. As the rainy season continues, residents, commuters, and traders continue to count the cost of poor infrastructure and inadequate drainage systems, which often worsen the impact of persistent downpours. In this report, Agidigbo FM News correspondent Aisha Oladeji examines how the rainy season is affecting daily lives of Oyo State residents. Here is the report.
Beyond sustaining life and agriculture, rainfall also balances the environment for both humans and the plants. However, beyond its benefits, the season continues to present significant challenges for millions of Nigerians, as heavy downpours often leave roads submerged, homes flooded, and businesses disrupted, making daily activities increasingly difficult. In many communities, inadequate drainage systems and indiscriminate waste disposal have worsened the impact of flooding, resulting in property damage and the displacement of residents. As rainfall intensifies, poor road conditions and stressful transportation have become a major concern for motorists, commercial transport operators, and pedestrians. Speaking with Agidigbo FM, youth shared their experiences on how the season has been affecting their transportation to and fro to their workplace.
It's affecting us a lot, like them, like making our transportation high, especially if you are coming from work like in the night.
8 classes has become a big problem. Most of our lecturers are scheduling for evening classes like 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. By that time, rain has already started. The road will be flooded.
In a separate interview with Agidigbo FM, a driver explained how the rainy season have been affecting his daily income.
The roads that I apply every day are not good at all, and we plead the government to help us renovate them. The country is a lot for us already, and we are enduring it. For this reason, we plead the government to help us on this matter.
The economic effects of the rainy season are equally evident in local markets and business centers, as traders frequently record lower patronage whenever it rains. Traders associate their plights on how the season has been affecting them.
The rainy season, the period of rainy season, we will normally know the period of rainy season. When we talk about rainy season, anything we talk about rainy season, the period of rainy season, the market does not move. The market is in flow.
Despite these challenges, residents are adapting in different ways, as some now leave home earlier to beat traffic caused by flooded roads, while transport operators adjust their route to avoid waterlogged areas. As the rainy season continues, stakeholders are calling for improved drainage infrastructure, regular clearing of waterways, prompt repair of damaged roads, and greater public awareness on proper waste disposal. Until lasting solutions are implemented, many Nigerians will continue to navigate their daily realities of flooded streets, deteriorating roads, difficulties in transportation, and reduced business activities during the rainy season. Aisha Oladeji, Agidigbo FM News.
Buying drugs from roadside vendors may seem convenient, but experts say it can put lives at risk due to fake, expired, or improperly stored medicines. Health professionals have repeatedly warned that medicines purchased from unlicensed sellers may not be safe or effective, exposing consumers to serious health complications. Agidigbo FM News correspondent Esther Solomon examines the dangers of patronizing roadside drug vendors and why Nigerians are advised to obtain their medicines only from licensed pharmacies and authorized medicine outlets. Blessing Olasukomi brings the report.
Drugs from roadside vendors remain common in many parts of Nigeria due to their easy accessibility and relatively low prices. However, health experts have repeatedly warned that buying medicine from unauthorized vendors poses serious health risks. Roadside drugs may be counterfeit, expired, poorly stored, or administered without proper medical guidance. According to health experts, the consequences of using these drugs may include treatment failure, drug resistance, worsening health conditions, and even death in severe cases. Speaking in an interview with Agidigbo FM News, a medical professional, Dr. Adenuga, explained that medicine should only be purchased from licensed pharmacies and other approved healthcare facilities.
One of the greatest risks that purchasing of drugs, medications from unlicensed sellers is the danger of expired drugs, bad bad products. These drugs that these people sell on the streets, you don't know where they are from. They could just be, things that have been mixed up in a facility that you don't even know and just put in a pack for you. That's not good enough. It's not great enough. And in the long run, they can have potentials to be hazardous to the body system.
Further speaking with Agidigbo FM News, some residents shared their views on the dangers of buying drugs from roadside vendors.
Drugs that it is fake. There are some drugs that it is expired already. So buying a drug from a roadside vendor is very risky for our health. There's an adage that says health is wealth. So we need to take good care of ourselves by going to a pharmacy and ask for a pharmacist there. Tell the pharmacist what you are going through, how you are feeling. He or she is going to prescribe the drugs, the exact drugs that you need to use for your health.
Some residents of Ibadan share their thoughts on the accessibility of roadside medical drug sellers.
There are a lot of reasons, but I like to talk about one. They are not safe because most of them are not NAFDAC registered. Okay. So that's why they are not safe.
In his own expert opinion, pharmacist Omotosho warned that buying drugs from unlicensed seller exposes people to serious health risks.
One after going to some places, they go and pack medications and seize some people's licenses in court. However, we need more of that, especially in the rural environment. The fact that people feel like there are no eyes on them makes it easy for them to still put drugs on the roadside. So besides the regulations, we need people out there, their personnel out there, to monitor all these roadside sellers.
As the demand for affordable and easily accessible medicine continues, health experts are urging members of the public to prioritize their safety by purchasing drugs only from licensed pharmacies and approved healthcare facilities. They say while roadside vendors may offer convenience and cheaper prices, the potential health consequences of consuming fake, expired, or improper stored medicine could be far more costly. Blessing Olasukomi, Agidigbo FM News.
Now it is time to link up with our United Kingdom studio for the foreign news.
News from Kulanza Studio, Agidigbo FM, United Kingdom. I am Olushola Damilola. Widespread disruption continues at Bristol Airport after a runway defect saw all flights suspended. Hundreds of passengers were stranded after the airport runway was closed from 6 p.m. yesterday until 8 a.m. this morning. A spokesperson for the airport apologized for any inconvenience caused and advised passengers to check the status of their flight with their airline. No details on the nature of the runway defect have been released, but a spokesperson for the airport told journalists it did not involve any aircraft. According to the reports, an official carried out regular inspections of the runway, and that was when a defect was identified. Spain has imposed border controls on all air and sea travel from Italy as a row between the two EU countries intensifies. The measures, which started at midnight and will last for a month, comes a week after Italy introduced similar restrictions following an influx of about 78,000 migrants from Morocco into the Spanish exclave of Ceuta. Yesterday, Spain demanded that Italy should reverse its checks by Sunday. The crisis had pitted Spain socialist leader Pedro Sanchez against Italy conservative leader Giorgia Meloni, who has long called for stricter EU migration rules. Although Italy does not share land border with Spain, but its government said last week that the decision to temporarily suspend the border-free Schengen arrangement was to prevent any of the migrants who had entered Ceuta from traveling home to Italy. And that ends the news from Kulanza Studio, Agidigbo FM, United Kingdom. I am Olushola Damilola.
Welcome back. We shall also be moving to our Maryland studio, United States, for more foreign news.
News from Kole Amzat Studio, Agidigbo FM, United States. I am Oluwatosin Soya. The U.S. Senate overwhelmingly approved a sweeping package of sanctions targeting Russia and Iran in a move aimed at strengthening support for Ukraine as it continues to fight Russia's war under President Vladimir Putin. The measure passed by a vote of 86 to 11, marking a rare bipartisan agreement in a chamber that has remained deeply divided over major efforts to support Ukraine since President Donald Trump returned to office last year after campaigning against extensive foreign and military aid. The legislation gained renewed momentum following the death of Senator Lindsey Graham. One of its strongest supporters. His death prompted senators to push the measure forward, with many viewing its passage as a way to honor his long-standing effort to increase pressure on Russia. The Senate vote comes as Russia intensified its aerial attack on Ukraine, placing further strain on the country's already depleted air defenses. Just 2 days earlier, at least 17 people were killed in Kyiv in an attack involving 24 ballistic missiles and 4 hypersonic missiles. The United States is temporarily imposing additional travel measures on certain passengers who have recently visited Uganda, South Sudan, or the Democratic Republic of Congo in an effort to reduce the risk of Ebola transmission. The measures are part of U.S. public health protocols for travelers arriving from areas affected by Ebola outbreaks. According to CDC, U.S. citizens and nationals who have been in Uganda or South Sudan within 21 days before arriving in the United States will have their flights routed through designated U.S. airports for public health screening. The requirement also applies to travelers who only transited through either country while connecting to another flight, provided they had been in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Anyone suspected of having Ebola may be transferred to a hospital for further medical evaluation, isolation, and treatment to prevent possible transmission of the virus. And that ends the news from Kule Amzat Studio, Gidigbo FM, United States. I am Oluwatosin Soya.
Welcome back once again. In the exciting world of sport, Nigeria's under-20 boys, Flying Eagles, are up against the Young Stallions of Burkina Faso on Sunday in the final match of this year's WAFU B Under-20 Championship, ongoing in the Ivorian city of Yamoussoukro. While the 7-time African champions seek to retain their trophy, won in Lomé in October 2024, Sunday's encounter will also determine the second team from WAFU B zone to join host Ghana in the Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations finals next year. In 2022, the Flying Eagles met the Young Stallions in Niger Republic, with the tie finishing in a 2-2 draw, and when both teams clashed in 2024 in Lomé, the Stallions piped the Flying Eagles 1-0. The Flying Eagles coach, Abdul Mekaba, believes his side has the opportunity to avenge its rivals in the group stage. Meanwhile, Sunday's clash will take place at the State Charles Conan Bani in Yamoussoukro, starting at 7 p.m. To wrap up the news this evening, here is a recap of the headlines. Federal government says Nigeria, China to expand partnership to science, technology. Oyo residents lament over rainy season difficulties. Spain announces new border controls with Italy in migration role. U.S. tightens travel rules for people returning from Ebola-hit regions. Flying Eagles face Burkina Faso for WAFU B final for AFCON ticket. And before we go this evening, here is a quick tip. Move out of your comfort zone. You can only grow if you're willing to feel awkward and uncomfortable when you try something new. Finally, we've come to the end of the news around the world on Agidigbo 88.7 FM Ibadan, the most listened to radio station. I am OLAJUMOKE, OLADUNJOYE. Thank you for listening. Good evening. News is information, and information is power. At Agidigbo 88.7 FM, we bring the news from top to bottom.
The Oyo State Independent Electoral Commission, OISEC, has called for continuous collaboration.
We bring you reports from Oyo State.
The Oyo State House of Assembly has called for thorough investigation.
Southwest Nigeria and the rest of the world.
Has clarified that the body did not receive any cash support from international development.
Trust us to keep you informed every hour, every day.
Agidigbo 88.